My topic is Urbanization's impact on domestic violence. Domestic violence is any form of mistreatment intended to control, manipulate, and humiliate the victim. Women are 3 times more likely to be victims and men 2 times to be perpetrators. Although it's often called intimate partner violence, domestic violence also occurs between blood relatives and roommates as well, as it occurs within a household. There are different types of abuse, as I have listed below, along with a few examples of each type. It should be understood, however, that each situation involves a mixture of the different types of abuse instead of all of the types of abuse, and it varies situation to situation. Domestic violence is a worldwide issue that tends to occur more in developing countries, and especially in places where women stay at home to raise children and more men bring home the bacon, so to speak. And of course, it happens more in less affluent neighborhoods, particularly in slums where overcrowding and poverty rates tend to be the highest. And because of the nature of domestic violence, victims are afraid of speaking out against their perpetrators, and therefore there tends to be an underrepresentation of the severity of this problem, especially in places where women have limited access to help and where implementation of violence against women are very rarely implemented and of course enforced. Some of the risk factors for domestic violence include financial problems, which tends to occur more in areas where poverty rates are the highest. Alcohol and drugs are also involved in 2/3 of all incidents of attempted and successful homicides. And then, of course, family history of abuse makes people very likely to become more involved in abusive relationships down the road. I also believe that being exposed to violence, sex, and drugs and alcohol in TV shows and movies have a very negative impact on our children of today. As far as the impact on the community, I've read that 1 of 3 women are going to become domestic violence victims in her lifetime. And then the CDC quoted that 8 million days have been missed by victims of domestic violence for as far as going to work goes. And this is coming from the CDC. So these are some pretty drastic numbers listed below. As far as addressing and preventing domestic violence, we need to help train healthcare providers identify potential victims of abuse via screening and identifying when health issues are related to said abuse. We need to provide more counseling and services to parents who may be at risk of abusing and becoming abused, as well as to protect each other and the children. We need to expand social assistance programs and other financial services in order to help victims gain independence and also to prevent perpetrators from becoming stressed out and taking it out on women, or vice versa. We need to have more sophisticated filtering programs to reduce childhood exposure to violence, sex, and drugs and alcohol in the media. We need to change the idea that women are inferior to men in order to accept no for an answer. And then we need to somehow limit how many drinks someone can buy from grocery stores, and bartenders need to more heavily enforce how many drinks people are allowed to drink. This is my list of references. I hope you enjoy this presentation. Thank you and have a good night.